Question 3 from Project Camelot. My own view is that our planet is a conscious being, and the planet and humanity is moving from the third density into the fourth to the fifth in the coming years. My understanding is that we have entered the fourth density at the present time. According to the raw material, not all of humanity will move into the fifth density, but will remain in a third density Earth out of choice and due to their emphasis on service to self versus service to others. How do you view this? If your view is different, would you please go into some detail on what you see? Answer 3 from James. Earth as a consciousness is undefinable. The moment you bring in a description of Earth's consciousness, you define it. And the moment you define it, you frame it in separation. And the moment you separate it into elements, you deceive its true essence. Earth is a host consciousness, and this is its essence, though even that creates separation and therefore a degree of deception. Yes, the densities are shifting, but these are artifacts of the human mind system. Even the belief that the near infinite dimensions of the astral and mental planes are real is a comparison to the physical plane. I would suggest to you that what is in the purview of the human instrument, which includes the physical, emotional, in parentheses astral, and mental densities or dimensions, are all caught up in the human mind system and the suppression framework. It is not of the sovereign integral, and it is therefore impertinent, existing in polarity, separation, and deception. In other words, it's a creation designed to conceal what you truly are. The Earth is not shifting to a new dimension in order to raise its consciousness and ascend to a higher state, nor are the fortunate few going to be swept along because they did something better than others and therefore are the chosen. We, as a human family, are being prepared to live as sovereign integrals upon Earth. Will this happen in 2012? No. 2012 will feel like any other year for most people. There's no year or specific time that will define the era of transparency and expansion, the rise of the sovereign integral. It is happening quietly in the most unexpected places. People are beginning to see what has been encoded within their human instrument is a system of control, deception, and manipulation. And at some deeper level, they glimpse a new clarity. As fleeting as it might be, they perceive themselves to be more than a system of feelings and thoughts packaged inside a body. This is what is time. This is what is to come. People awakening from a virtual reality inside a virtual reality. Earth is part of this new transparency. Nature has already donned this new apparel and wears it proudly, but humans have not noticed, for our programs lack the perception. It will be, in part, through nature that the human family will be awakened, and Earth is preparing for this eventuality. When it occurs, it is not because Earth is vengeful or God working through Earth is delivering his wrath. It's Earth/nature expressing its new transparency and expansion in its own way. Consider the following story. Advanced humans living on an interdimensional level were cleverly induced to embody human instruments designed by a foreign intelligence, the Anunnaki. As this workforce was developed, the physical embodied humans became utterly accepting of their limitation because it was systematic in suppressing the sovereign integral state of consciousness, the infinite and eternal life force that powered their human vessels. Early on, human bloodlines intermixed with their designers, and the human evolutionary pathway into diversity was accelerated. Part of this diversity was contained within the elite societies that helped to formulate the separation of the human family and the money power grid. The designer gods, the Anunnaki, were ultimately satisfied with their mining operations and left Earth and their human creation behind. The human genome was adapted within the matrix of the human mind system and evolved into the present-day human family we have in the 21st century. So now we have a race of beings that are trapped inside a suppression framework, unknowing of their condition, worshiping gods that do not exist, believing in heavens and hells that are part of the human mind system landscape, praying to masters and saviors to absolve their sins and moral apathy, and continuing to fear death and non-existence as if they were absolutely unaware of their true nature. Let's say that you are the true God, first source. What would you do to awaken people to their true nature? What process would you use to shift the human family to a perspective of realization that what they had believed and was of deception and suppression of their true natures, knowing that the components of the suppression framework could not be removed overnight, or the individual would likely go crazy, or worse yet, perish? What would you do? First Source has limited moves on the chessboard because humanity is sealed inside a prison, where the guards and the warden of the prison control the money system and hold and distribute the power among themselves. The spiritual and religious leaders are equally caught up in the prison, occupying the more righteous sections, but still within the same prison. The interdimensional beings, like ascended masters and angels, are also in prison, though their freedoms seem near infinite when compared to the human inmates. There are a handful of humans who have removed the human mind system and its assorted systems of separation and broken out of the prison. But these are an infinitesimally small percentage, and generally their writing stories, techniques, are received as crazy talk by their fellow inmates. And even if a handful of humans escape the prison sends the guards to recapture them or discredit them in such a way as to render their deeds as supernatural, or worse yet, demonic. The real problem in this story is that the humans within the prison do not see the prison as a prison, or the guards as guards. They are oblivious to their imprisonment, thus they are not trying to escape from the prison. Rather, if they are seeking to escape from anything, it's from boredom, anxiety, poverty, pain, bad relationships, illness, depression, and hopelessness. The suppression of their identity as a sovereign integral that lives in an eternal and unconditional oneness, equality, and truthfulness is not even a consideration in their search. Earth, consisting of the animal, plant, and mineral kingdoms, as well as the elements air, water, and fire, combined with nature as defined by the cosmos, is the queen on the chessboard that First Source can use. These are strategic instruments through which specific walls of the prison will be destroyed, and individuals who are properly prepared can reclaim their identities as sovereign integrals and establish a new transparency and expansion within their wholeness. Now, just because some walls of the prison will be taken down does not mean that everyone will run out and embody their new freedoms. The prison is constructed of many walls, and when one wall falls down, there is the initial rush of relative freedom, but there remains another wall, and another wall after that. The prison is a labyrinth, and until the individual is not relying on pictures, images, sounds, words, feelings, and thoughts to interpret their world, they remain inside a wall of the prison I have previously described as the suppression framework of the sovereign integral. Many will not feel comfortable with the spatial qualities and long horizons of this new era. They will resist the transparency and expansion because they have come to identify so strongly with their human mind system that anything that tears at that identity threatens what they perceive as their hold on existence. Others who are prepared will easily embody this new era and transition into it like a baby eagle taking its first flight. A little awkward at first, but quickly mastering the required skills. While Earth and universe, nature play key roles in the liberation maneuver, the preparation of the individuals is their own responsibility. It is a balanced equation. Earth/nature plus individual preparation equals sovereign integral realization. The first point of process is the key factor of preparation. If your first point for the reclamation of the sovereign integral state of consciousness is anything less than unconditional oneness, equality, and truthfulness in the expression of every moment, then you will hit many walls within the prison, and each time you do, you will be required to start over. Thus, the initial point of self-realization must be aligned to the realization of itself. This is due to the mathematical equations that guide the process.